Hey guys, what's going on, dudes? It is David here, and we are back with another video. Now, in this video, guys, we shall be doing a 7-round mock draft for my favorite NFL teams. Now, I did this earlier on today. I did off the Pro Football Database, Pro Football Network mock draft, and I did all 7 rounds. I did no trades. And these are the picks that I selected for the Atlanta Falcons based off the needs that we want and based off the position, the depth we're trying to really fill. So without further ado, with the number 8 pick in the 2022 NFL Draft, the Atlanta Falcons will be selecting Garrett Wilson, wide receiver, Ohio State. One of the biggest positions that the Falcons are going to need right now is wide receiver. Because if we look at our best wide receiver currently right now with Calvin Ridley being suspended, it's Olamide Zaccheaus. Unless we play Cordell Patterson at wide receiver, and I really don't know if we're going to be able to do that, it's Olamide Zaccheaus. That's our best wide receiver, and the one that's the most familiar with the system because he was here from last year, and he was a wide receiver that played okay. Now, if he does outperform his deal, he has a 2-year deal. He signed a 2-year deal. So he has 2 years, and within those 2 years, he can break out. That's going to be good. But considering the fact that there's most likely going to be a trade between the Atlanta Falcons and Kyle Ridley next season, I don't really see Atlanta extending Kyle Ridley. You're going to need a new number 1 wide receiver that can replace Julio Jones, that can replace Calvin Ridley, who was supposed to be the number 1 wide receiver but never officially became the number 1 wide receiver. And I decided to go with Garrett Wilson at number 8 and not trade down. I'm doing no trades in this video. So Garrett Wilson is the first round pick for the Atlanta Falcons at pick number 8. And in the second round, at pick number 143, we're going to go with an edge. Arnold, I'm not even going to try and pronounce his name, Arnold E. That's what I'm just called him, Arnold E. He's a defensive end from Penn State. We need help getting to the quarterback because the defense for the Atlanta Falcons was terrible getting to the quarterback last season. I'm pretty sure we had the least amount of pressure on a quarterback when it comes to an NFL team. So why not? With the first of our 2 picks in the second round, why not go ahead and get some help on the edge? We're definitely going to need some help on the edge. We're going to need get some pressure on quarterbacks. We need to get a lot more sacks. So considering that we signed another edge that used to play for New York Giants that's actually from Georgia, he may actually help. But this also secures both sides to helping. And I think that this guy has a better potential than doing. He can play terrible and he'll still do better than what Dante Fowler did last season. So that's what I'm going to go with at pick number 43 in the second round at the Atlanta Falcons NFL Draft for 2022. At pick number 58 in the second round, I'm going to go defensive back, Kyler Gordon, cornerback from Washington State. I know we just signed Casey Hayward, and I know we re-signed Isaiah Oliver, and obviously we have AJ Terrell. But if Isaiah Oliver can't stay healthy and he can't perform as well, this gives us a second-round pick on a defensive back, and we definitely still need the help at corner because Isaiah Oliver, even though he did get injured this past season, he hasn't really played as well as people would have expected to. I would honestly say the 2 lead cornerbacks for the season is obviously going to be Casey Hayward and AJ Terrell. But still, you're going to need another cornerback that can eventually replace Casey Hayward because Casey Hayward's up there in age. And imagine having 2 young lockdown cornerbacks in AJ Terrell and Kyler Gordon right there in the defensive back position. That'd be a very good thing, and that's why I went with him at pick number 58 for the Atlanta Falcons 2022 NFL Draft. Third round this time. And at pick number 74 in the third round, I've decided to take offensive tackle Nicholas Petit-Ferreri, Ohio State. Tackle is a position that we need. We just re-signed Jake Matthews to an extension, but the other side definitely needs to improve. Caleb McGarry is not it. Caleb McGarry we traded up to get, I think it was 2018 or 2019 in the draft, and ever since then he hasn't really performed. I would honestly say that every position besides left guard for the Atlanta Falcons is kind of filled, even though they're still young, it's kind of filled, because Matt Hennessy can play a good center, and if we need to, we can kick him out the left guard and get a center. Right guard is Chris Lindstrom. Chris Lindstrom is the second best player on this offensive line for Atlanta Falcons behind Jake Matthews. the weakest position for the Atlanta Falcons is right tackle, and so I decided to go with one of the picks in the third round. I decided to fill out that tackle spot to eventually replace Caleb McGarry because if I remember right, his contract is going to be expiring if we don't pick up his fifth option for this year, and I highly doubt that we're going to pick up his fifth option this year. But I do honestly think we're going to pick up Clear Lindstrom's fifth-year option, so I'm okay with that. But this secures a future right tackle that can probably play on both sides, and it'll just be a good thing for this Falcons team to shape up their offensive line for the future. Second pick in the third round, at pick number 82, I decided to add to the wide running back room because the Falcons signed Damian Wilson. The Falcons re-signed Cordell Patterson to a 2-year deal. So we got Cordell for at least 2 years. But past those 2 years, do we got anything past that? Because Damian Williams is only on a 1-year contract. I'm pretty sure we still have Mike Davis too. So we have 3 running back game. So and I think Mike Davis's contract runs until the end of this coming season. So we're going to need a running back for the future, and that's why I decided to pick Kyren Williams, running back out of Notre Dame. I like the size and the fit of Kyren Williams, and I think that he'll be a perfect system fit for the Atlanta Falcons offense and Arthur Smith's offense. So I decided, hey, why not, in the later rounds, like we have 2 third-round picks, why not use one of those picks and use a pick for a running back and go get a running back for the future? That's what I decided to do. Get Kyren Williams in the third round at running back, and moving on into the next pick in number 4, the fourth round at pick 114, one of my favorite numbers, 14. We decided to get linebacker to replace Foyesade Alunkun, because I think we actually drafted Foyesade Alunkun in the 3rd or 4th round of the draft. Channing Tindall, linebacker from Georgia. The only reason I went with this pick is due to the fact that he played in Georgia. Considering he's going to the 4th round, he's not going to be that good. But hey, we didn't think Foyesade Alunkun was going to be the lead tackler this past season in the NFL, so he still has the potential to become a breakout player. And considering the fact that he played in Georgia for all of his college career, this is keeping him in state, and this is the one Georgia player that I've selected that would keep in state, so I'm completely fine. It would add another linebacker to his system. I think I'd probably play him 3rd behind Michael Walker and Deion Jones. So it'll be interesting to see what we do with that. But that's it for the 4th round pick. And now our final 3 picks of the draft. In the 5th round, at pick 151, I've decided to go with Yusuf Crocker. Defensive back, Kentucky. This is a safety position. He plays safety because as of right now, we re-signed Eric Harris. We still got the guy that we drafted in the 2nd round last year. I forgot his name, the guy from USF as safety. We got Jalen Hawkins, who actually performed better than I thought he was going to, because he had a couple interceptions during the season. So if he can keep getting better, we may have the safeties for the future. And this just add another safety to the depth chart, just in case one of those 3 players get injured. So I decided in the later round, 5th round, get a safety, add to the depth, and help just better this defensive back position, because on that defense, we just need a lot of help, and that's why most of the picks I've been going with so far have been defensive picks. But the next pick, in the first pick of the 6th round, I decided to not go with another defensive pick. I decided to go at pick number 190 for wide receiver, Charleston Rambo. The Falcons need wide receiver depth. And considering that you can get a potential breakout star in Charleston Rambo, who used to play for Oklahoma, who transferred to Miami, Florida, not Miami, Ohio, then there's a good possibility of him having a potential breakout season. And even if he's like an okay wide receiver, this still adds to depth that Atlanta Falcons have, just in case most of our wide receivers do get hurt throughout the rest of the season. So this is the only reason I decided to add it. Picking 2 wide receivers because that adds more depth to Olamide Zaccheaus, to Frank Darby, and to, I think we just picked up a wide receiver recently, I forgot his name, but this adds to the wide receiver depth. And then we have the final pick in the 2022 NFL Draft for the Atlanta Falcons in the 6th round, pick number 213. I decided to go along with Adam to defensive tackle position alongside Grady Jarrett, Marlon Davidson. I decided Neil Farrell Jr., defensive tackle, LSU. The reason why I decided to do this is because I don't really feel like the Atlanta Falcons should need to draft the quarterback. I feel like with Marcus Mariota being a bridge quarterback and considering the fact that the next year's class is going to be a lot better and there's going to be a lot more options to select, we can tank for this season, go get a Bryce Young, go get a Anthony Richardson, go get a guy from CJ Stroud from Ohio State, and then play them. And I know the Atlanta Falcons are not going to be doing good this season, so I want to add another depth to the defensive tackle position because I've heard we're going to be extending Grady Jarrett. Marlon Davidson still has a little bit to improve, and the Marlon Davidson cannot improve. This guy has very good potential, and I see him as a good option for the Atlanta Falcons. So in terms of the Atlanta Falcons 7th-round mock draft, I have them selecting Garrett Wilson, wide receiver at Ohio State, Arnold E., edge from Penn State, Kyler Gordon, cornerback from Washington, Nicholas Petit, offensive tackle from Ohio State, running back Kyron Williams from Notre Dame, linebacker Channing Tindall from Georgia, Yusuf Crocker, defensive back from Kentucky, wide receiver Charleston Rambo from Miami, and defensive tackle Neil Farrell Jr. out of LSU. And I just want to say this, when it comes to the Falcons fans, just expect anything possible because who knows, this team could shock someone and get a couple wins. But if I had to say this, the Falcons need to tank and go select next year in 2023, Anthony Richardson.